Hello, good morning. It is the towards the end of March. 17, probably literally no idea what date it is today. I think it's the 18th. Yeah, no, that's not right. Um, that shows I'm very tired. It's been a very long week. Last week I made my video on Friday because I was off to Murrayfield for the day, and to go and get my passport. I did those things. It was one of those days where it was lovely, but I was completely and utterly exhausted. And the way I get in the week, that means that I'm so so exhausted at the weekend that it's hard to do things at the weekend. And that was the case last weekend. However, um, we had a lovely day, and I got to see my lovely girl, and the four of us were together, and we had an early Mother's Day lunch, and that was great. Then I did quite a lot of work over the weekend in the car and on Sunday because I am teaching an awful lot. Last week I taught 5 days in class, so then everything else got done outside of that time, which is difficult, but the job of a head teacher. Um, there's 5 days until the Easter break and then 2 weeks off. I'm thinking about all of that, how I'm going to pace myself. I have a list of things to do that's a million long, but that's always the case in my life with ADHD. So I have to just realize that and pace myself, and remember to breathe. And the best thing recently has been the therapy that I've been having, which I'm paying for privately, and I'm very lucky to be able to do that. And every Monday I sit and I process, and there is no other um, real opportunity to do that within the working week or the workplace, really. I don't think, much as we talk about the need for supervision, none of us have time. I have a fantastic line manager who I do catch up with, but for me, because of my ADHD and the things that I've had, the therapy is really, really, really important. And that's helped me to kind of look at how I keep my nervous system calm and how I keep the stuff um, at arm's length, I suppose. And just that thing of sort of, this is what I'm trying to do at the moment, is just to keep the stuff at arm's length so that I've got that core of regulation of my own nervous system regulating itself and not being influenced too much by other people's emotions and nervous systems. It's not easy at all because there's a lot of stuff coming in at the moment from a lot of people, and when you work with families and children and people, and we've been through a time like we have, it's hard. But that's what I'm working on. So for me, it's not the kind of, what I have to do is build it into each day. So baths in Epsom salt, a swim once a week in cold water, getting onto my stepper every other day, routine, repetitive movement, and then therapy, and then a couple of people who I absolutely can just, outside of therapy, also just chat to. And I have a fantastic friend, Christine, who in the mornings when we're driving, we have hands free and we have a regular call, and we just go, hello, we've got this, basically. We reflect on what's happened, we reflect on the day ahead, and each day we say, we've got this, and and also we've got choices, and what if we can't do this because it's tough, then what do we do? And that is just incredible, and I'm incredibly lucky to have that, and my husband and my family, because they are also part of that massive support mechanism, no, not massive, that support mechanism that I massively need. And that's that, really. And the last thing I'm just going to say is that this week, with the class that I've been teaching, we've been practicing this thing, which I think is really helpful. So, what I've said is I think a lot of children are still very anxious, very hypervigilant, because if you've been alive for 6 years and the last 3 years have really been under the shadow of a pandemic, half your life has been quite anxious. And the pandemic, it happened, but then there's definitely still COVID around. It pops up again, and it's like, well, it's still the thing that could kill your granny. And what, a year ago or a year and a half ago, we were still wearing masks, and then we weren't. And so these children, I think they are hypervigilant. They are worried, and they worry about little things that perhaps they didn't used to worry about. And if they worry and they don't have an answer, they'll just make up a story. So they'll try and work out why they feel what they feel or whatever. And I think, I've talked about a jangly nervous system. So we're doing a lot of stuff on how to calm nervous systems. We do a lot of breathing, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. We do a lot of that. And we've got a thing this week where when we say things that are worrying or bad, or I don't tend not to talk about bad, but uncomfortable feelings, then what we do is we say, so an example is, oh, the weather outside's absolutely awful, but I'm indoors and I'm warm. And we've been doing that. So we've done a lot of domino runs this week, which are incredibly fun to do, but also incredibly frustrating. And so we kept getting them to the point where they were nearly ready, and then someone would knock it, normally me. And then we'd say, it's really frustrating when Mrs. Carter knocks over the dominoes, but it helps us to learn for next time that we mustn't move and knock the table, or we mustn't wear a bracelet. Or so we're doing a lot of that, and that's been great. And I think that, for me, that's the thing as well that I need to do more of, because when the catastrophe and the catastrophic thinking comes in, and oh my goodness, everyone helps me, I'm going to lose my job, then it's like, okay, maybe some people don't like me, but that helps me to reflect and look at the unlikable bits of me that maybe I need to change. Um, there, that's it really. Yeah. So if any of that makes sense, then I hope it does. If it doesn't, then move on to the next video by someone different. It's a year since I applied for this job and another job that I didn't get. It's a year since I really committed to the idea of going for it and being a head teacher. I haven't been a head teacher for a year yet in this role. So I'm doing a little bit of like Easter's all the time. I love it because I love Easter. I love the spring. I love the lights. I love Ramadan. Um, I love talking about all of these things just now that are about kind of stopping, pausing, new beginnings, taking time. And Easter for me, this time of year, it is a time to do that. And so I'm going to take that time, um, after I've done some of the things on my to-do list, of course. But that's also on my to-do list, to take the time. Okay, stay well, stay safe, take care, and um, thank you for those people that sometimes get in touch and say that they appreciate or understand. Um, okay, bye for now.